Hey BC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video just to kind of do a couple of things. As you can kind of see, I just came back from the gym a minute ago and I have a bunch of errands to run, but I wanted to shoot a quick video to show a couple of quick dollar bin finds that I got this past week, as well as a very cool piece I received from Mr. Billy Crayoni. And then also I've gotten a couple requests for some artist requests from people over the past week or so, and I don't have my little thing where I was writing stuff down, but I remember a couple of them, so I thought I would just kind of knock those out really quick. But anyway, now I wanted to shoot it now instead of waiting till later, because one of the things that's making it kind of tough to keep up with my videos is usually I get home at night, and it's really hard to film videos in here at night. I mean, I have like all these lights around and I'll turn them all on and I'm in here, like this, because everything is just so freaking bright, but it doesn't show up very well on camera. So I'm trying, if I can get points so I can knock stuff out during the day, that definitely makes it a lot better. So it's been a little more difficulty with filming and doing videos at this location than it has been in my other places in the past. Having to set up the camera because there's really no place where it actually just kind of like sits all the time like it used to on my desk and all of that. So anyway, that's just letting some stuff out about all of that. But anyway, let me kind of jump into it. Let me start off with a couple of things that I picked out of the dollar bin. First one I'll show you here, I haven't even put sleeves on them yet, which is a Yellow from 1985. And if you don't remember this band, actually I'm sure you do, because I'm sure all you remember the song Oh Yeah from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's this album, that's Yellow. So that's what that is. That was a very nice find for, I think like 75 cents actually. I think all these were 75 cents. Savage, kind of a strange one I picked up. It's kind of some South Seas Hawaiian Tahiti history type music. I mean, it has like a mixture of all those different things on there, and I just really picked it up because I took it out. It was 75 cents. I listened to a little bit of it, and there were a few songs on there that really reminded me of gosh, I cannot remember the name now. There's a certain style of African music that my dad introduced me to a long time ago, and I can't remember the name of it, but the sound of a few things on here was very familiar, or very similar I should say. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, so I went ahead and picked it up. You never know what oddball thing's going to come in your collection. With that being said, Tammy Wynette's Greatest Hits. That's how I roll, DC. Just, and of course, she's probably most well known for her song, Stand By Your Man. And again, as cheesy as this stuff looks and sounds and everything else, there are times when I just like to, put on just kind of some old soft twangy country and let it flow in the background, and it just kind of creates a really kind of laid back in the day type atmosphere. So this record does that as well. So yes, I put a little Tammy in my collection. Then I picked up this little 12-inch Pete Townsend, Face to Face, but the B-side is Won't Be Fooled Again, which is the main song that I really liked on this. It's kind of a upbeat, somewhat acoustic version of Won't Be Fooled Again, which is kind of cool, so that was why I picked it up. And then there was one other record I found that made me think about somebody here on the VC, so I picked that up. I'm not going to show it because I want you to be surprised when I send it to you, but that'll be a very cool thing. And then I want to share this too before I get into the 2 or 3 requests I'm going to do. Mr. Billy Crayoni, I mean, obviously you guys know, I know he knows very well, and you guys know too, how big an 80s fan I am and how big of an old school hip hop fan I am. And so he sent me this nice little thing in the mail, and I was like jumping up and down when I saw it when I opened it. And it is the Fat Boys Crushing, an autographed copy. Autographed by Prince Marky D and Cool Rock. I mean, the Human Beatbox, Big Buff is dead, so R.I.P. But again, this is just like the stuff that made my childhood. The Fat Boys, LL Cool J, Run DMC, African Bambaataa, Eric B. and Rakim, and just all that old school stuff is just, it's price Houdini. I mean, that stuff is just priceless to me. And so, again, if you go back and tell that 10-year-old kid, that 12-year-old kid, that one day you're going to have that Crushing album signed by Prince, Marky D, and Cool Rock, I mean, I would have just been flipping and jumping for joy back then. So it's cool that I get to experience that now, because I kind of feel the exact same way. So I already have a really nice copy of this, which is cool, because now I can just get this one up on the wall and still have my listening copy available. And again, Mr. Crayoni, you know me well, my friend. Thank you so very much for sending that to me and taking the time and your money and everything else to actually do that for me. And I really, really appreciate it. I just hope someday in some way I can return the favor. So those are the new things that I wanted to share, right? Yeah, I think that's it. So let me get to the requests. One of the requests was Alice Cooper. So let me jump right into that. Okay. Let's start with Alice Cooper Trash, which has, of course, House of Fire and Poison on it, two of my favorite, my more modern favorite songs by Alice Cooper. One of my favorite covers, too. I really like that one. Constrictor. Flush the Fashion. What year was that? 1980. Yeah. This is probably one of the Cooper albums that I'm not as familiar with. I've only listened to this all the way through one time. But Lace and Whiskey, I need to go back and really plant this album up here, get a better feel for it. Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. That's a classic. Welcome to My Nightmare. Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits. And probably one of my favorites right here, which I'm sure most people would say this, $1 Million Baby. Or not million, billion. I always get that twisted in my head. $1 Billion Baby. Which of course has my favorite song by him, which is you know, Hello Hooray. I think that's just a great song, period. Then here is a copy of Killers that I have. Cover's a little bit rough. I got this one for $1. I actually pulled it out of a dollar bin somewhere. The vinyl's in really good condition, but I figured this will get me buying so I can get a better cover. So if any of you have extras or one you want to trade or something like that, let me know. I know it's not a very costly album, but I'd like to get a better cover. And then here's Live. I'm sorry, not Live. What I'm talking about, Love It to Death. I'm thinking about something else. But as you can see, this is the old band cover with his thumb coming out of his crotch right there. So that's a really good find. And I have a bunch of his other albums on cassette, but I'm not going to go through and dig through all that good stuff. And I also got a request for Hendrix, which, by the way, I didn't mention was playing in the background. If you can even hear it, it's actually playing on my iTunes, but I do have the record here, where I can show you really quick. Lenny Kravitz, Let Love Rule. Very, very good album. I believe this was Lenny's first album. Definitely one to check out, too, if you haven't heard it, because a lot of the more, you know, heavier guitar rock type stuff that Lenny has done later in his career, that wasn't really the way he started out with this album. This is really a much more mellow, kickback type of album. And I think for people that don't really know Lenny from start to finish, you'd really be surprised at the feel that he puts out on this album. So it's definitely worth checking out. Matter of fact, this song playing, Mr. Cab Driver, is probably like the heaviest song on there. Which if you can hear it, it's not very heavy at all. But anyway, now I love Lenny too. I love that guy to death. But anyway, Hendrix, that was the next request. So let me do it like this, be easier. Nice 2 LP set, Valley of Neptune. Very, very well pressed 2 LP set. South of Saturn Delta. Another very nice 2 LP set. Nine to the Universe. Got Hendrix Crash Landing. Soundtrack recording from Jimi Hendrix. One interesting thing about this cover is I always wish that was a real photograph of him and not a painting. So I think it's just such a cool shot that really kind of captures him. I just thought it'd always be cool if it was actually a real photo of him, but, you know. Hendrix in the West. And this is Hendrix and Otis Redding at Monterey Festival. Would have been nice to have been at that show, tell you what. And then the classic right here, of course, Band of Gypsies. This is a reissue. I had an original pressing one time, but it was pretty worn. I sold it when I got this one. If I could go back and do it again, I would have kept it. But anyway, this is a nice 180 gram repressing. And of course, you know, this has the classic Machine Gun. You know, that's just one of those things where it's just fun to sit back and watch where Jimmy goes. And, you know, he goes a lot of places on this record, especially that song. But, you know, Who Knows, Changes, all that good stuff with Buddy Miles. I mean, really, really good album. It's a classic. Just like this one, Electric Ladyland, which probably has my favorite song by Jimmy, which is Voodoo Child, which may be a bit cliche, I mean, you know, to say that, but at the same time, man, that guitar solo that he goes into after the first verse of Voodoo Child is just the most incredible freaking thing ever. I can't listen to that without stepping back and really kind of wanting to understand and just desiring so much to know, where is Jimmy going? Like, where is he right now? Because there's no way he's still within himself. I mean, it's just, he goes to some place, and I just want to go along for the ride, and it's just to sit back and watch him and hear him go there. It's incredible. It is just flat out incredible. Jimi Hendrix Smash Hits. It's kind of a greatest hits thing. This is a very common one you tend to see everywhere. Well, I guess a lot of Hendrix albums are, but anyway. Axis Bold as Love. One of my favorite covers. Sorry. One of my favorite Hendrix covers there. And this is a classic. This is one I think everybody should own when it comes to your Jimi Hendrix collection, which is Live at Monterey. And it's kind of nice because these things, I mean, you know, 180 grams pressed brand new, they're usually running about $14 or $15 a piece, so they're not, you know, one of those big, high pricey records. But it's just a classic Hendrix record that everybody should, I think, should own. You know, especially with the really awesome cover of Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone that he does on here. Really, really good stuff. And the other classic, Are You Experienced? And then, last but not least, The Roots of Jimi Hendrix. And again, I have a few other things on cassette and CD that I don't have on vinyl, but I didn't pull all that stuff out. But it never ceased to amaze me, you know, a shorter period of time as he was actually on the scene in music, how much stuff that he was able to get down on tape, which is really cool. I mean, a lot of those albums have, you know, a lot of songs that are crossing over, and, you know, Hey Joe was on 35, 40 different albums, that type of thing, but there really is a ton of material on him based on how short a period of time he was around, so that's definitely good that we absorbed as much Jimmy as we could before he left. That's all I can remember off the top of my head. Like I said, I know there were some other requests. Oh, before I do it, someone did request Van Halen. Just let me take you over here. I apologize, guys. I don't have that all that editing stuff that you guys have, so my videos just kind of really shot just like they happen. So sorry about some of the mess ups here. Someone asked for my Van Halen collection. Actually, I think I've shown this recently, but hey, let's show it again and get the light out of the way so it doesn't glare like crazy. Okay, we have the first Van Halen album. Still glaring pretty bad, isn't it? Let's do it like this. First Van Halen album. Van Halen 2. Women and Children First. Fair Warning. Diver Down. Probably my two least favorite Van Halen albums, but they're still good. The one that really threw them on the map was 1984, of course. My favorite Van Halen album, R5150. 12-inch single, The Summer Nights. 12-inch single, The Best of Both Worlds. Van Halen OU812. And Balance. And before anyone even asks, I'm sure you probably heard me say this a million times before, I love both Van Halens, both Van Halen and Van Hagar, but if you ask me which one produced the best music and best overall records, I say Van Hagar did. Van Halen was much more rock and roll, one of the best frontmen to ever step on a stage in David Lee Roth. Van Hagar was the most musical version of Van Halen. You know, when you looked at not only just the presence of being able to get on stage and put on a great show and be true rock and roll, but also melodies and just the way songs were put together, produced. I mean, just beautiful music they made at that stage. But anyway, we won't go into that because I know there'll be a lot of different viewpoints on that. So anyway, there you go, YouTubers. Not YouTubers, I apologize, VC. I gotta get used to addressing the VC and not YouTubers, because I'm doing this for you guys, not for YouTube. Those are the requests. I will make some more requests when I get back to my notebook and see the ones that I forgot. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and take care, be careful out there this weekend, and we will talk to you soon.